What happens when the people who specialize in bringing laughter face challenges for which no script could ever prepare them? Behind the funny lines and familiar characters are artists who have quietly adapted to illness, professional pressure, and life changes. In this video, we will look back at 18 sitcom stars and their memorable stories. Please comment with the name of your favorite actor. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell so you don't miss any upcoming content. To many viewers, Adam West was more than just an actor who once donned the Batman suit. He was the image of a vibrant era of television where a hero could seriously confront evil, yet still bring laughter through a calm and somewhat eccentric demeanor. The Batman series that aired in the 1960s made West one of the most recognizable faces on American television. His portrayal was unlike the dark versions of The Dark Knight that would appear later. Adam West's Batman was colorful, polite, and always maintained a serious air, even in the most humorous situations. It was this contrast that created a unique charm that audiences still remember decades later. However, a role that is too famous can also become a large shadow for an artist. After Batman ended, West faced many difficulties in finding characters that would help the public see him in a different way. Instead of denying the past, he gradually learned to embrace the audience's attachment to that image and turned it into a part of his comedic style.
Actor and a sense of humor, but I should be at the top of the list. Keaton, Kilmer, Lego, Bale, and that pretty boy clone.
Years later, a new generation of viewers came to know his voice through the character of Mayor Adam West in Family Guy. By satirizing his own famous image, he showed that an artist can step out of a mold not by erasing the past, but by looking back at it with comfort and intelligence. West's health issues late in life were not widely publicized for a long time. In June 2017, his family announced that he had passed away in Los Angeles at the age of 88 after a short battle with leukemia. His loved ones remember him as someone who always wanted to have a positive influence on those who admired him. Adam West's story is not just about a costume or an iconic character. It is also the journey of an actor once pigeonholed by his greatest success, who ultimately found a way to turn that image into a source of joy for many generations. In the hearts of the audience, he remains present with grace, warmth, and an unmistakable sense of humor. In 2013, Valerie Harper received an announcement that could leave anyone disoriented. Her illness had affected the membranes surrounding her brain, and doctors predicted her remaining time could be counted in mere months. But instead of letting that number become the end of her public life, Harper continued to appear, work, and talk openly about her health journey. She did not deny the seriousness of the condition she faced. What she refused was to let a medical prediction decide exactly how she would live for the duration of the time ahead. Decades earlier, audiences knew her as Rhoda Morgenstern on The Mary Tyler Moore Show and her spin-off series, Rhoda. Rhoda was not the model of a perfect woman typically seen on television at the time. She had her insecurities, her disappointments in love, and often used humor to face them. Harper's relatable portrayal helped the character become one of the most memorable female figures in American television, while also earning her several major awards. Harper had been diagnosed with lung cancer in 2009. By 2013, she was determined to have leptomeningeal carcinomatosis. This is a condition where cancer cells spread to the membranes surrounding the brain and spinal cord. According to Harper's sharing, she was once informed that she might only have about 3 months left. Not long after, she participated in Dancing with the Stars. That decision did not mean Harper took her health condition lightly. It showed that she still wanted to be seen as a living and working artist, rather than just being mentioned through a medical file. She also used public attention to help raise awareness and support cancer research. Valerie Harper passed away in August 2019 at the age of 80, more than 6 years after the initial prediction. Those years were not simply a story of living longer than a number. What is more memorable is how she retained the right to choose her attitude, to continue appearing, to continue connecting, and not letting the circumstances take away all the remaining joy. Rhoda once made the audience laugh by frankly looking at imperfections. In real life, Valerie Harper also left a similar lesson. We cannot always control what happens, but we can still choose how to move forward and how we want to be remembered. John Ritter understood his body as a musician understands an instrument. As Jack Tripper in Three's Company, a trip, a loss of balance, or a moment falling into a chair were all performed with precise rhythm. Those seemingly random movements were actually the result of physical control and a special sense of comedy. Jack Tripper made Ritter one of the most prominent television comedians of his generation. The role earned him both a Primetime Emmy and a Golden Globe. However, Ritter's abilities were not limited to physical comedy. Colleagues remembered him for his kindness, spirit of cooperation, and ability to make everyone on set feel respected. In the early 2000s, Ritter returned as Father Paul Hennessy in 8 Simple Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughter. This character allowed him to combine familiar clumsiness with the warmth of a father trying to understand his children. The show was achieving success when a completely unexpected event occurred. On September 11, 2003, while working on 8 Simple Rules, Ritter developed serious symptoms and was taken to the hospital. Initially, his condition was thought to be a heart attack. Later, doctors determined he had a type A aortic dissection, an acute case involving the large artery that carries blood from the heart. His health deteriorated rapidly, and he passed away that same evening at the age of 54. Ritter's passing left colleagues and audiences struggling to prepare mentally. Just a short time before, he was still doing the work he had been dedicated to for decades, using laughter to make someone else's day a little lighter. But the story didn't end at that studio. After his death, his wife, actress Amy Yazbek, founded the John Ritter Foundation for Aortic Health. The organization focuses on community education, supporting research and raising awareness of aortic diseases with the hope of helping other families recognize the risks sooner. John Ritter is remembered not just for the way he fell in comedy scenes, but for how he always stood for laughter, kindness, and connection. His legacy continues to live on screen and has expanded into activities that help the community better understand a health condition that was once little noticed. Which role or moment of John Ritter do you remember most? Share your thoughts in the comments. If this story brought you meaningful information, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next stories about screen legends. As soon as B. Arthur stepped into the frame, the atmosphere of the entire scene seemed to change instantly. With her signature deep voice, sharp eyes, and ability to keep silent at the right time, she didn't need exaggerated actions to make the audience laugh. Arthur once made a strong impression with the role of Maude Findlay in Maude, before becoming Dorothy Zbornak on The Golden Girls. Dorothy was intelligent, frank, and often the one who brought her friends back to reality. Behind those short responses was an acting ability honed over decades on stage and television. 2 famous roles earned Arthur 2 Primetime Emmys, while also helping her become one of the most lasting influences in American comedy. Arthur's on-screen image was always associated with confidence and strength. Therefore, the public knew almost nothing about the health issues she faced in her final years. Her family kept this information private so she could spend time with her loved ones without becoming the focus of outside speculation. B. Arthur passed away at her home in Los Angeles on April 25, 2009, at the age of 86. Contemporary reports confirmed she had undergone a period of cancer treatment, but did not publicly disclose more private details. Just a year earlier, she was inducted into the Television Academy Hall of Fame, a recognition of her enduring contributions to television art. Bea Arthur chose to stay away from the spotlight when her health was no longer what it used to be. Thus, the last memory she left for the audience was the image of Dorothy standing in the middle of the room, calmly observing the chaos around her, and ending it all with a remark that was both sharp and full of affection. On the set of Barney Miller, a small prop almost became a symbol for Detective Nick Yamana, the coffee cup. Yamana was famous for brewing coffee that made his colleagues wary, and Jack Sue only needed to maintain a calm expression to turn that moment into a memorable comedic scene. Sue's humor didn't come from trying to grab attention. He often spoke slowly, reacted just enough, and let the silence complete the rest. That style helped Nick Yamana become a distinct character among the large cast of Barney Miller. This role carried an even greater meaning. During an era when American television still often limited Asian actors to simple and stereotypical images, Sue portrayed a police officer with a profession personality and equal status to the other characters. Previously, he had turned down roles that he felt demeaned the image of Asian Americans. Sue's presence thus contributed to expanding how audiences perceived Asian artists on mainstream television. In the 5th season of Barney Miller, Sue had to face esophageal cancer. He still participated in production for a period of time before his health made it impossible for him to continue. Jack Sue passed away on January 11, 1979, at the age of 61. After his passing, the show did not choose to replace Yamana or quietly ignore his absence. The cast appeared in a special tribute episode, no longer standing before the audience as fictional characters, but as colleagues remembering a friend. At the end of the show, they raised their coffee cups to remember Jack Sue. His cup was later kept in the collection of the Smithsonian National Museum of American History. A prop once used to create laughter became a simple but profound farewell for the artist who gave Nick Yamana his own soul. For many years, Donna Reed represented the sense of peace that American audiences wanted to find when they turned on the television in the evening. In the Donna Reed Show, she played Donna Stone, a calm, caring mother who always had a way of bringing her family back together after daily disagreements. That image became so familiar that people sometimes forgot Reed was also a highly regarded film actress. Before becoming an icon of family television, she won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for the film From Here to Eternity. Her career spanned from famous films to 8 seasons of one of the most successful sitcoms of that era. In late 1985, Donna Reed's life story took a very quick turn. She was admitted to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center after experiencing issues related to a bleeding ulcer. During the examination and exploratory surgery, doctors discovered she had pancreatic cancer. At that point, medical intervention possibilities were very limited. Reed was allowed to return home on December 24 to celebrate Christmas with her family. Just a few weeks later, on January 14, 1986, she passed away at her home in Beverly Hills at the age of 64. Only about a month passed from the time her illness was discovered until she left, so the public had almost no time to prepare for that news. What remains after that sudden departure is not just the image of a perfect mother on screen. Donna Reed is also remembered as an artist who proved that gentleness does not mean weakness. In every role, she brought a sense of stability and warmth, things that continue to be present whenever audiences re-watch her works. Frank Barone would often walk into his son's house without notice, open the refrigerator as if it were his own, and then make a remark that made everyone both annoyed and unable to stop laughing. The character in Everybody Loves Raymond was stubborn, loud, and rarely admitted he was wrong. Peter Boyle in real life was described by colleagues as an intelligent, quiet, and thoughtful person. It was the vast distance between his true self and the character that showed his acting ability. Boyle could make Frank difficult, yet still retain enough affection for the audience not to hate him completely. Ray Romano once remembered Boyle as a mentor who was always ready to help and make those around him feel welcome. Behind the powerful energy of Frank Barone, Boyle's health went through many challenges. In 1999, he suffered a heart attack right on the set of Everybody Loves Raymond. After a period of treatment, Boyle recovered and returned to the show. He continued to play Frank until the series ended in 2005. In his final years, Boyle faced multiple myeloma along with heart disease. He passed away at New York Presbyterian Hospital on December 12, 2006, at the age of 71. Previously, the role of Frank Barone earned him multiple Emmy nominations and became one of the most memorable father characters in American television sitcoms. When rewatching Everybody Loves Raymond, viewers still see Frank walking into the room with a dissatisfied look, ready to turn a small family matter into a laugh-filled argument. But behind that strong character was an artist who repeatedly returned to work after changes in health because he still had joy he wanted to share with the audience. In these 4 stories, which character do you remember most? And what is their role that you still love? Share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell to accompany us in future stories about television legends who left laughter for many generations. On screen, Sophia Petrillo always had a story to tell. Just by starting with a mention of Sicily, Estelle Getty's character could make the whole room silent to listen before laughing at an unexpected punchline. In The Golden Girls, Getty played the mother of B. Arthur, even though she was younger than Arthur in real life. Makeup helped her become the elderly Sophia, but it was her quick comedic ability that made the character beloved by audiences. In the final years of her career, Getty began to have difficulty with her memory and was determined to have Lewy body dementia. She sometimes forgot her lines and had to write them on paper or place them in discreet locations on set. Behind Sophia's confidence was an actress trying to complete every scene, while her ability to remember gradually declined. Estelle Getty passed away in 2008 at the age of 84. Audiences still remember her through a sharp and energetic Sophia, but the journey behind that role also shows the silent perseverance of an artist who always wanted to finish her work. Yvette Wilson often took on the type of character people could trust. In Moesha and the Parkers, Andale Wilkerson always appeared at the right time, offering practical advice or a humorous remark that helped make the situation lighter. In real life, Wilson had to manage kidney failure while still pursuing her acting career. She underwent dialysis and looked for a kidney transplant opportunity, but most of those difficulties were unknown to the audience when the shows were still airing. Later, Wilson was diagnosed with cervical cancer. Friends and colleagues once organized a fundraiser to support medical care costs, and it was through this that the public better understood her health condition. Yvette Wilson passed away in 2012 at the age of 48. Although her life ended quite early, she is still remembered as an artist with a natural, relatable acting style who always brought a warm feeling to the movies she participated in. There was a move that once made millions of viewers laugh, Fred Sanford clutching his chest, looking up and pretending he was having heart problems. Red Fox repeated that performance many times in Sanford & Son, making it a familiar hallmark of the character. In 1991, while rehearsing for the film The Royal Family, Fox suddenly clutched his chest and fell to the floor. Because they were so used to his famous comedic act, some people on set initially thought he was just continuing to joke around. Only after a few moments did everyone realize this was a real health situation. Fox received medical support but did not survive after a heart attack. He passed away at the age of 68. This circumstance created a sad coincidence between the character and the artist. However, Red Fox's legacy should not only be remembered through his final moment. He was also a pioneering comedian who contributed to bringing the voice and experience of the Black community closer to American television audiences. Elizabeth Montgomery once made the most complex problems in Bewitched seem simple just with a twitch of her nose. In the role of Samantha Stevens, she displayed grace, intelligence, and the ability to control every situation with a gentle demeanor. After the series ended, Montgomery continued to work steadily in many television projects. In the spring of 1995, while filming Deadline for Murder, she began to have prolonged flu-like symptoms. Initially, she thought the cause was fatigue and still tried to finish her work. Later test results showed Montgomery had colon cancer that was already at an advanced stage. When the disease was discovered, treatment options had become very limited. She passed away at home about 8 weeks after being diagnosed, at the age of 62. Her rapid departure surprised many viewers. Nevertheless, the remaining image of Elizabeth Montgomery is of an elegant, talented artist and an irreplaceable face of American television. To many viewers, Elizabeth Montgomery was not just an actress, but also a part of the memories of classic television. Which of her roles left the deepest impression on you? Leave a comment and share your memories of her. If you love stories like this, please like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell to continue meeting the faces that made screen history. Again. In The Brady Bunch, Robert Reed played Mike Brady, the calm father who always knew how to bring the family back together. That image made him an icon of an ideal home on American television. But Reed's life off-screen was much more complex. As an actor trained in classical theater, he often desired scripts with more depth and sometimes disagreed with the production team. At the same time, he had to keep his personal life private during a period when coming out as gay could seriously affect his career, especially for an actor associated with a family program. In his final years, Reed was diagnosed with colon cancer and HIV. When he passed away in 1992 at the age of 59, initial reports mainly mentioned cancer. His HIV status was only publicized later. Robert Reed's story shows that behind the image of the perfect father was an artist who had to live for many years under the pressure of hiding his true self. Audiences of The Bob Newhart Show can hardly forget Suzanne Pleshette's deep, raspy voice and sharp demeanor. As Emily Hartley, she created a perfect balance alongside Bob Newhart's anxious comedic style. That voice became an important part of Pleshette's image, but it was also linked to a smoking habit that lasted for many years. In 2006, she was diagnosed with lung cancer and had to undergo treatment, including surgery to remove part of a lung. Despite her reduced mobility, Pleshette maintained her inherent wit. She even appeared at a cast reunion in a wheelchair, showing that she still wanted to participate in important moments rather than completely withdrawing from public life. Suzanne Pleshette passed away in 2008 at the age of 70. She is remembered not only for her special voice, but also for how she maintained her self-control and humorous spirit in her final years. Richard Hurd did not often play central roles, but he appeared in many familiar American television shows. In Seinfeld, he played Mr. Wilhelm, George Costanza's superior at the New York Yankees office, a character who seemed powerful but was frequently confused by the situations around him. Hurd's career spanned more than half a century, with many roles in television and film projects, including Star Trek. He was considered a durable actor who always completed his work without needing too much media attention. In his old age, Hurd was diagnosed with colon cancer. He kept much of his treatment process private and continued to maintain his attachment to the profession as best he could. Richard Hurd passed away in 2020 at the age of 87. His passing might not have created big headlines, but his legacy lies in hundreds of small roles that contributed to making the television world familiar to many generations of audiences. If you appreciate the quiet actors who contributed to the golden era of television, please leave a word of remembrance in the comments. Hit like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to continue honoring faces worthy of remembrance with us. Diana Hyland was cast as Joan Bradford in 8 is Enough, the mother at the center of a large family. However, just as the show began, her real life took a completely different turn. Hyland had been treated for breast cancer before joining the program. During the filming of the first season in 1977, the disease recurred and her health declined rapidly. The long working hours on set became increasingly difficult, leaving her able to complete only 4 episodes. Diana Hyland passed away at the age of 41, alongside her boyfriend at the time, actor John Travolta. The event happened so quickly that producers did not choose to replace the actress, as is usually done. Instead, the mother's absence was written directly into the content of the following season. A light family show was forced to face real loss, making Joan Bradford's story a special part of the program's history. Before becoming the familiar voice of teacher Edna Krabappel on The Simpsons, Marcia Wallace had many years of activity in television comedy. The character Edna often appeared tired with sarcastic remarks, but the woman behind the voice was famous for her optimistic spirit. In 1985, Wallace was diagnosed with breast cancer. Instead of keeping it completely hidden, she publicized her treatment journey and actively encouraged women to pay attention to early detection. After successful treatment, Wallace continued to work for nearly 3 decades. That led many people to believe that her health issues were completely closed. However, the disease later recurred and was kept secret from the public. Marcia Wallace passed away in 2013 at the age of 70 after her immune system weakened and she suffered complications from pneumonia. Her life showed that the post-treatment journey doesn't always end at a single point in time, but optimism can still create a lasting positive impact. Erin Moran grew up before the eyes of the audience as Joni Cunningham in Happy Days. That character represented carefree youth and the sense of security of an ideal television family. When the show ended, Moran had difficulty transitioning to adult roles. Her financial life and personal problems were frequently exploited by the press, making the public see her mainly through negative stories instead of the actual difficulties she was experiencing. In her final years, Moran lived quite privately in Indiana. When images appeared of her looking weaker, many sources were quick to speculate the cause was from lifestyle, but those assessments did not accurately reflect her condition. Erin Moran was actually suffering from stage 4 squamous cell carcinoma in her throat. She passed away in 2017 at the age of 56. Moran's story reminds us not to rush to judge a person based only on images or rumors spread in the media. Markie Post brought a bright energy to Night Court as public defender Christine Sullivan. Among eccentric characters and chaotic situations, Christine was often the one who maintained optimism and faith in good things. When diagnosed with cancer, Post did not completely leave work. For nearly 4 years, she underwent treatment while continuing to participate in television projects and holiday movies. Chemotherapy can have a major impact on health and energy, but Post still tried to appear before the camera when conditions allowed. She didn't want her final years to be defined only by her medical status, but still wanted to be seen as an actress continuing to pursue the work she loved. Markie Post passed away in 2021 at the age of 70. Her journey leaves behind an image of a persistent artist who maintained her passion for acting while quietly adapting to changes in health. Each artist in this list had a different journey, but they all left behind laughter and memories that are not easily faded. Health changes cannot represent an entire life or career. What remains is the talent, dedication, and the characters who continue to live in the hearts of the audience. Which story do you remember most? Share your thoughts below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell to continue looking back at television legends with us.